Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going over the Definitive Arms AK-103U. It's a fantastic little AK rifle. So for those of you that don't know, Definitive Arms is a custom shop down in Florida, and they build just top-notch AK builds along the lines of what you'd see out of Krebs Custom, Rifle Dynamics, and companies like that. And I don't take that lightly. You guys know I'm a huge fan of Krebs and the work they do. The attention to detail is fantastic. And right off the bat, I would say that the Definitive Arms rifles are right there with them. The rifle starts out as a Polish kit, and when it comes in, it's inspected, and then all the small parts, which is really nice, and you'll notice it when you handle it, all the small parts are tumbled, so there's no hard edges with the exception of the optics rail, which obviously needs to have a hard edge just the way to interface with mounts, but it's fantastic. And what we're going to do now is just step outside, take a look at some of the groups you can get out of this rifle, and then come back in and take a look at the details.
We're going to test the accuracy of this Definitive Arms rifle next. It's got a couple things going for it. Number one, it has a cut and pinned muzzle brake, so what that does is it lengthens the overall length of the barrel. That allows better barrel harmonics because there's less material forward of the gas block here to whip with each shot, so it tends to improve accuracy, at least in my experience. We also have a side optics rail on here, which allows us to use this optics mount. This one here is the RS Regulate, and we got a SWFA scope on there. We've reviewed both those products before. Very good products. We have ammo that we're using, Red Army standard brass case stuff, so should be relatively accurate. If I can do my part anyway. And we got a target 100 yards downrange, 100 meters, excuse me, 100 meters downrange. And we'll see what we can get in terms of accuracy out of it. Well, through my optic, it looks like a pretty good group, but we'll check it out in detail here in a second. Let's see if we can ring some of that steel first. Seems to be able to do that just fine. As you guys already saw while I was shooting anyway, the group's pretty good here. Just to give you an idea of the measurement, if you look right there, the group's 2¼ inches. So certainly very respectable for a 7.62 by 3.9 AK in my opinion.
I mentioned out there that the barrel is cut and pinned, and basically the details on that is that the brake up here is a Bulgarian chrome line brake. I think you can probably see that if you look at the edge there. It is chrome line. It's a little bit dirty. I probably need to clean it a little bit better, but it is a 24mm brake pinned on there, and the barrel underneath is 14.7 inches. Everything that's going to be pinned on this barrel, when the parts come in, they're drilled out, and then there's brand new pins that Definitive Arms installs. So the pins are totally straight, not warped like you do see on some of the other parts kit builds out there. So they take very good attention to detail to actually get those pins just right. So On that note, the front sight there is pinned, is repinned in as well, and it sort of gives you a mid-length sighting option, sort of in between what you'd see on a regular AK, where it's a little sort of out here, and some of the ones that have the gas block sights. So somewhere in the middle there, so you get very usable sights out to most AK engagement distances. Unlike a lot of the cut and pinned AKs, this one still has a very usable cleaning rod. However, to make it fit in there, it's actually cut down and not rethreaded. The reason it's not rethreaded is just so that way it's easier to get out and on, but still, due to the way the front sight clamps it in there, it's perfectly secured. It doesn't come out. And I know some of you guys like to have a cleaning rod on there just for looks, and others like it for function. Usually the only kind of function I see coming out of cleaning rods on AKs, I know you can use them to clean, I just don't see that often, is when you get a stuck case. If you get a stuck case, you can definitely pop it out there at the range and keep firing. So it's a good thing to be able to have it on there for those of you concerned with that. The furniture that comes on the rifle is your standard KVAR mil-spec furniture. It does have your heat shield up here and the US-made buttstock. That's going to be Warsaw length. And your grip is just going to be your standard peg Arsenal grip. I did change that one out because I personally don't like small grips because I have relatively large hands. But that is what it comes with. And, you know, it's AKM, so there's tons of parts that you can interchange with it and swap out if you do want to. Underneath the handguard, you can see the barrel profile there. Again, standard AKM profile. And it also is made of 4140 steel. It's chrome lined, so that way it'll resist corrosion and enhance the barrel life. Moving back to the receiver, there's just a ton going on here, guys. You can obviously see the stamping here, stamped AK-103U with Definitive Arms logo on there. The receiver itself is a Nodak spud receiver. However, in the future, there's going to be some Morrissey receivers coming out, which are literally the exact same thing. For those of you guys that don't know, they're made in the exact same place, to the exact same specs, same, just different markings. So if you see that, that's what that is, and don't be alarmed, it's the exact same. The receiver, everything on it is polished. Any of the contact surfaces, I should say, are polished up and smoothed out. All your rails are polished up and smoothed out, as well as the magwell. The magwell is super smooth, and those of you guys who have a lot of surplus AKs will know that it's absolutely not the case on those. They tend to be relatively rough, but any mag I've had in there locks up relatively well. I mean, obviously mag dimensions are going to vary more than, you know, your magwell standards will. So use a ton of different mags in there and they lock up just fine. Just to kind of show you real quick, here's a Bulgarian Circle 10. No real play in there at all. Locks in tight. And just to contrast that, here would be a Romanian. Again, locks in tight, a little bit looser just to the feel. That's mag specs though, not magwell specs. So no issues there at all with the magwell. The trigger guard here is a one-piece Russian mag catch trigger guard. So that's nice. A lot of AK junkies will really like that. And it is beveled, so that way everything runs in there very smoothly. Like all the contact points in your receiver, your carrier here is also polished on all the contact points, so extremely smooth function throughout. The bolts are either lapped or stoned depending on how they come in. Obviously they're parts kit builds, so they have to actually gauge each one, look at each one as it comes in, and then they're properly headspace with the barrel. It's guaranteed to pass headspace out of the factory from Definitive Arms, so you should not have an issue there, and I haven't seen any issues, wouldn't expect any as well. The glare from the trigger here may be blinding you, at least from all the lights in here, but the trigger there is very, very smooth. It starts out as a base Tapco G2, but the angles are really changed on it. If you take a look at it, a lot of things are totally different, and then it's polished out to ensure nice, clean, crisp break. The Krebs custom safety also comes standard on the gun, which makes manipulating the safety on your AK much easier than it would be, you know, with your standard AK. I always recommend the Krebs safety, especially for right-handed shooters. It really is a big advantage in functionality. Rifles like this are just super feature laden, so trying to hit all of them is kind of a tough task. I know I went over a lot of them. I'm sure I missed a couple. One I know I missed was the actual finish on this rifle. This rifle here, first off, all the different parts are Parkerized. After that, it's Cerakoted, so that's definitely a nice thing. So many of you may know that Parkerization really is a very good finish for paint type finishes to adhere to, so it's going to be pretty durable. This one here, I've only used COP on it, but I know some of you guys like to use your solvents, and it should hold just fine to that. You know, I know some of the imported AKs have a hard time with solvents. This one should do the job just fine. Other important thing we didn't talk about yet was going to be price. I picked this rifle up over at Atlantic Firearms, and it goes for about the $1,400 mark, give or take. I guess depending on when you actually check the website. But it's very expensive, and I'm sure some of you guys just spit your beer out and did the what the. But if you think about all the work and the labor that goes into a rifle like this, and it's so hard to explain over a video that when you feel the rifle and the function of it and just how it shoots, everything's lined up perfectly. I mean, the sights are dead nuts straight. They're aligned, everything. The rear trunnion, front trunnion, sights, the gas block, everything. aligned perfectly. And I know some of the, even Arsenal rifles come around. You see them on the forums. They have canted sights. I'm telling you, you will not have to worry about that with one of these definitive arms rifles. So, yep, it's expensive. And does your Wasser shoot reliably? Yeah, I mean, I have a Wasser that shoots reliably. It's a great gun for the money, but handling the two, I mean, I've handed this gun to other people who have just handled Wassers, and they kind of like drool and say, "What the hell is this? Doesn't even feel like an AK." So, really, it's just super refined. If you need that or if you want that, it's a decision you guys are going to have to make. But no doubt about it, it's an excellent rifle. If you guys have any questions about it, anything I didn't cover here, missed, or anything like that, you can post below in the comments section. You can also post over at my Facebook page as always. But thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing, and I hope to see you in the next video.